This is news on Good News Catholic Communications. I am Betty and Lazarus. In the headlines, the synodal process is now at the continental stage. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell urges Grenadians to take pride in their independence celebrations. And the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada rolls out developmental plans for the Tufton Hall estate. We'll have details when we return.
We're going so fast, looking all excited.
I'm on my way to a synod meeting.
Synod meeting again? I thought I was finished. I say what I had to say and I done with that.
No, it's not finished. That was just the beginning, the diocesan phase.
Yes, for the first time, the church was listening to us and I felt included.
Well, after that, remember the diocesan synthesis was prepared and presented?
That was great. We all had a voice from the church in Grenada.
Well, our bishop met with all the other bishops of the Antilles Episcopal Conference. From this, original synthesis was produced and sent to Rome.
So where are we now?
We're at the continental phase.
Continental phase? What is that?
After submission, all the syntheses from around the world, a working document was produced. We will be reflecting on the working document. You know the working document has a code from the AEC synthesis as well?
Well, I come in too. I want to be involved in the entire process from start to finish.
There we go.
Welcome back. Sister Roxanne Nichols, diocesan contact person responsible for the synodal process for the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada, says currently the process is at the continental phase. Our news team sought to verify exactly what this phase is and as to where things are at the moment.
We had the diocesan phase, we had the various listening consultations, and so then the team we put together the synthesis. The diocesan synthesis, and if you remember, we had that celebration at Grenville Church where we celebrated the closing of the diocesan phase. So that synthesis was submitted to the AEC, the Antilles Episcopal Conference of Bishops, and they in turn had their own discernment process with the various syntheses they would have received from the various dioceses and archdioceses around the Caribbean region. And so they in turn compiled their own synthesis, which was submitted to the Synod Secretariat in Rome. And so that was done for all the dioceses and archdioceses around the world. And so the Synod Secretariat was able to compile what we have now, the Continental Working Document.
The Universal Church entered the continental phase in October 2022, and that phase will end in March 2023. Sister Roxanne explains that although the diocesan phase has been completed, the process as well as the synodal journey is alive and growing.
So we were given that working document and we had to come back on the diocesan level now, the synod team, with other members of the parish synod team to discern further what was being reported back in the continental document. So we had some specific questions in which we had to reflect on and provide feedback to the Antilles Episcopal Conference. So at the parish level, we had invited the parish synod teams to meet as a team and to do their own discernment process. On Saturday the 14th, the Synod National team, together with some coordinators, we met again and we had a discernment process. So we are in the process of compiling that synthesis, which we will submit again to the Antilles Episcopal Conference.
Bishop Clyde Martin Harvey will attend the Continental Synod meeting from the 19th to the 26th of February in the Dominican Republic,
where they will now look at the various syntheses that will come from the various bishops' conference from the Caribbean and Latin America region. And then they will compile a synthesis again to submit to Rome, and that will serve as a working document for the Synod of Bishops, who will meet in October 2023, which will signal the start of the universal phase of the Synod.
What are you asking parishioners? It seems as though we are in the wait. We're not at a loss, but what are you asking of parishioners and laypersons within the church?
To remain open and to be patient. So at the beginning, we have been reiterating that the synod is not an event, so it is not yet finished. And I think most persons got it into their head that, okay, we had our diocesan consultation, so this thing is over, but it is not. And it is testing us, it is asking us to be very patient. We don't know what will come next after so we know the universal stage is next to come. What they'll be asking of us, we don't know. And so they have asked us to kind of hold off on implementation. Don't rush too quickly towards implementation, but let's wait to see where the Spirit is leading us. And so it teaches us that, discernment takes time. And that's what the synod process is all about. So I'm asking you to be open and to be flexible and to be willing to share those mindset that we have. Oh, we need to get going. We need to start working and acting. But I just take this time and in the meantime just pray for the success of the synod, and we'll see what the outcome will be.
The other diocesan synodal committee members are Adrian Strawn, Henver Simeon, Josan John, and Father Michael Opoku. So there you have it. The synodal journey continues. Faithfuls are encouraged to keep in prayer and remain optimistic as we journey together. From the synodal process, we turn the lens now on the agricultural development plans for the Tufton Hall estate located in St. Mark, Grenada. Our news team trailed Mr. Francis Darius, Caritas Project Coordinator for the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada, and Jeffrey Mark, Project Manager at the Tufton Hall Estate. Efforts are currently underway by the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada to revamp the Tufton Hall Estate, an initiative of Father Mulligan, an Irish priest who came to Grenada in 1965. Mr. Darius, tell us, what is the revival initiative of this Tufton Hall project?
Father Mulligan procured this estate. Large part of it, some parts have been sold off, but what is retained, he farmed. It was a means of bringing some economic activity into the St. Mark area, to Victoria, to bring income to the residents, and at the same time to have fresh fruits and vegetables and produce as a source of income for the diocese. Over the years, the estate has deteriorated in terms of its activities because one, Father Mulligan passed away, and we've been hit by Hurricanes Ivan, Emily, and so the thing was in disrepair. An effort has been started to rejuvenate the activities here, to bring back the estate into some form of production, where the same objectives in place to ensure that the residents of St. Mark has ability to earn and to provide produce that can be used throughout the parish and throughout the island.
How many acres do you think it's practical to say that you are embarking on to revamp?
So the idea is to bring the entire estate back under production as it was many years ago. However, currently we are focusing on about just over 9 acres. Yes, as you can see, it is currently cultivated with cocoa, nutmeg, and some orchard. There was some orchard here, citrus, and as well as guavas and carambola and a variety of fruit items. The idea is to clean this up and bring this portion immediately on full production, together with some root crops, Tanya, Dashin, and the likes. We have Callaloo here, it's also the villagers of Victoria access some of that here, avocados, and bring that on a full production and then expand into the areas.
The backbone of this Tufton Hall revitalization project, a gentleman who has been with Father Mulligan from decades back. Tell us a little more about getting that work done.
Presently, the land technical stages are looking to distribute is to cut bamboo, clear the land by getting workers, clean up, plant up. So coming in the next few months, hoping to see a real difference in that. That portion here is ginger. But because of the water, I'm looking to get a great large district. So more on the top side way, more drainage. We get it spring on the top side and down on the bottom.
So, well, of course, naturally, traditionally, Tufton Hall, Victoria receive a very high amount of rainfall. But we had last season, current season, which started last year, we had, above average, if you want to call it, rainfall in this area. So the ginger did not do as well as it did in the previous year's production. You can still see them at a high elevation because it drains fast out there, but those in this area has come down a bit. So the idea is to do some relocation and do some drainage that will divert the water. So better land management to ensure that we maximize the production.
I understand, Mr. Mark, that part of the initiative is to revitalize the guava, the production of guava. Tell us a little more on that.
Well, on that area up here, that whole area going back right back onto another bamboo. It's only guava trees are there. So just clear it up now, cut the vine on it and bring it back. So you're able to sell guava to those making guava cheese and jelly. As for the market, like you never have enough callaloo. Always have a market for callaloo. Always. Somebody always needs, because when you're sick, that's the first thing the doctor said to you, get callaloo. So you always, and Grenada favorite dish, you must have callaloo. So always have market for callaloo.
The idea is to have a dedicated outlet, and that we are also looking at those things, so where people can have access, just as the meat that we do, the pork and so, is to have access to all the produce from the estates on a regular basis.
Agriculture was identified by Bishop of the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada, Clyde Martin Harvey, and adopted by the Diocesan Pastoral Congress in keeping with the theme, Live Church, Build Community, and Serve Country. We take this opportunity to congratulate Caritas and the working team out there in St. Mark. Meantime, the governments of Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica and St. Lucia have all pledged their commitment to supporting efforts to increase local production and export of agricultural produce. Over 50 agencies, government representatives and regional partners participated in the launch of a 2-year regional cluster of projects on promoting Windward Island's food production and trade corridor through national and regional value chain development. The cluster of projects are driven by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations in collaboration with the respective governments. Minister for Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives of Grenada, Honorable Adrian Thomas, shared some of the plans and partnerships already underway to support the initiative. Minister Thomas added that Grenada welcomed the initiative that would also greatly benefit their farmers, especially with the country's renewed energy to rebuild the agricultural sector following the devastation of Hurricane Ivan. Moving on now, Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, in his Independence Day message, has admonished Grenadians to celebrate with a sense of purpose and achievement. Grenada celebrated its 49th anniversary of independence on Tuesday, February 7th, under the theme, The Journey to 50, reflecting on the past, planning for the future. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell says, given Grenada's history and accomplishment, the nation has a lot to be thankful for.
The history of our people and the progress that we achieved in these 49 years commands great pride, nationally, regionally, and internationally, for the many accomplishments realized despite our small size and limited resources. When our Kirani James, then an 18-year-old from Gov, won the Olympic 400 meters in 2012, Grenada became the country with the most gold medals per capita in the world, a title we held for several years after his win. When Jennifer Hostin competed in the Miss World Universe competition in 1970, many people had not even heard of Grenada. Yet, she became the first black woman to win the title, an accomplishment that was recently featured in a Hollywood film. The ingenuity, the perseverance of the Grenadian people are our superpower, as can be witnessed in the numerous examples of Grenadians who left humble beginnings and continue to rise to the very top of their fields and to greatness here at home and in countries around the world.
In outlining the vision of government in taking the nation forward, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell highlighted strides made by government in prioritizing agriculture and the marine industry, along with health and youth development. Prime Minister Mitchell assured the nation that there is hope.
My fellow citizens, these are exciting times for our country. This administration remains committed to providing as many opportunities as possible, especially to our young people, to invest in and develop their ideas for the advancement of our nation. In our first 6 months, we have taken decisive steps to bolster the country's private sector and empower young people through increased funding opportunities for existing and aspiring small business owners. Many Grenadians are already benefiting from these opportunities, and we congratulate all applicants for taking the bold step towards entrepreneurship. We have also noted the massive appetite shown by our people to start their own businesses. Our administration therefore commits to seeking out and supporting initiatives that will provide further opportunities to develop the business sector.
Across the nation, schools, communities, and parishes showcase aspects of Grenada's independence celebrations.
Today at the Good Shepherd Church, we have our annual Appreciation Day celebration. It happens every Sunday before Independence, the Sunday before, where we bring food with a local focus and we appreciate each other in the church for what they have done. Today also we have an added attraction where we have an exhibition of things that through the 49 years of independence that we used. We have irons and goblets and lanterns and other stuff that the younger people do not know. But we are exhibiting it so that they can see some of the things that we used.
And now, on to the business of the Diocesan Pastoral Council. Bishop Clyde Martin Harvey is appealing to the various parish committees to move on with the process of submitting names to fill the positions for the establishment of the Diocesan Pastoral Council.
If you are one of the people who have been asked to nominate people for offices on the Diocesan Pastoral Council, please send in the names. Send in a name so that we can check with the people as to whether they really are interested in serving. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a tremendous moment if we get it right. If we get it right, the church in Grenada will shine forth like the sun. If we get it right, we will be able to move forward in faith to become what God wants us to be. So let's work to get it right.
17 residents of Carriacou and Petite Martinique are now certified community emergency response team agents following a successful disaster preparedness training led by the Youth Emergency Action Committee, an arm of Caritas Grenada, in collaboration with the Sandals Foundation and the Royal Grenada Police Force. Participants from various professions such as law enforcement, health, utilities, retail, marine protection, and landscaping were introduced to a wealth of disaster risk reduction strategies, including disaster medical operations, emergency communications, psychological first aid, fire safety and response, map reading and navigation, as well as light search and rescue. The 5-day intensive training in Hillsborough, Carriacou also saw participants conducting a number of drills and road clearance exercises, including learning the proper use of a chainsaw. This training, according to Sandals Foundation Ambassador and Public Relations Manager at Sandals, Grenada, DeLeon Forrester, was part of a larger effort which began in April 2022. According to Forrester, Sandals is happy to continue the incredible partnership to residents from Carriacou and Petit Martinique as they work toward making even more of our Caribbean communities safe and resilient. Project manager at YAC Grenada, Roseanne Redhead, described the recent trainings as a success, demonstrated through the commitment and interest of participants. Redhead disclosed that participants were particularly interested in search and rescue, learning how to stabilize casualties, CPR, and map reading and navigation, describing their instructors as amazing. Petit Martinique participant Xavier Rock said, "I've always wanted to do CPR, and I am very happy that I had the opportunity to learn how to perform one. And with the hands-on practice, I am now in a better position where I can perform CPR and be of assistance to someone who may need it." Another participant is quoted as saying, "I've learned a lot and I'm quite impressed." And that's from Sashira Davis. "I knew nothing about fire, fighting, or map reading and navigation prior to the training." The program, which forms part of 40 sustainable community projects to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Sandals Resort, was led and delivered by 9 CERT instructors who are graduates of the previous year's Training of Trainers sessions. Good News Catholic Communications continues to encourage our young people to become volunteers, join YAC, and serve your community. Congratulations is also extended to Sandals Foundation and YAC. That's it for the major developments. A recap of the headlines when we return.
Amigos, les pregunto, ¿están dispuestos a decir que sí?
A meeting of young people from all over the world with the Pope. A party of youth. A path. A gathering among cultures. Moments of sharing and faith. Young people as protagonists, seeking for peace, union, fraternity, among peoples from all over the world. A challenge for all.
No se metan en la cola de la historia, sean protagonistas, jueguen para adelante, pateen adelante, construyan un mundo mejor.
A transforming and memorable experience. Lisbon 2023. Are you ready?
And now for a recap of the headlines. The synodal process is now at the continental stage, with Bishop Clyde Martin Harvey to attend the synodal meeting from the 19th to the 26th of February in the Dominican Republic. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell urges Grenadians to take pride in their independence celebrations, mindful of Grenada's history and its achievements. The Diocese of St. George's in Grenada rolls out developmental plans for the Tufton Hall estate. On behalf of the entire team who made this newscast possible, I'm Betty and Lazarus. Thanks for staying with us.